Time no see. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since my last time coming on live to talk with you guys. I've been traveling. I let you guys know that I was not going to be available. So if you come in, let me know where you're joining from. Tell me your name. Let me make sure I'm not talking to myself. I'm going to be here for exactly 1 hour. I have, like I mentioned to you guys in the group, I have so much. I have a lot to do, right? And I have seriously contemplated canceling these sessions, but just the one person who comes and gives me good news, the one person who says it's meaningful to them, just for that one person, I keep showing up, right? But then, like I mentioned to you guys, it's tough. It's tough to mentor people who do not show the same level of commitment as you. It becomes really difficult when you have to, when it looks as though you're forcing people, right? If it looks like you're forcing people, then it's just like a waste of your time. So welcome. If you're here, tell me your name in the chat. Tell me where you're joining from. As usual, we'll be talking about US grad school, best practices, insider tips, what you should be doing, how you can manage to make sure that you scale the process or you succeed, right? Because it takes a lot of effort to get a fully funded scholarship. It does take a lot of effort. As long as you're looking for a fully funded scholarship, it requires some level of effort from you. It requires some level of commitment from you. It's not something that is going to be handed to you. It's not going to be handed to you no matter who you are, right? As long as if you don't put in the work, it's not going to be handed to you. You would need to be patient with yourself. You need to be patient with the process. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to go about it gradually, go through the process one after the other. So if you're here and you can hear me, I hope people can hear me. Let me know in the chat where you're joining from so that we can start our conversation today and we can get going. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're here, please type on the chat. Let me know where you're joining from. Tell me your name. Tell me if it's your first time attending the live or if you've been attending the live. Usman is joining from Yobe, Nigeria. Nice to meet you this afternoon. Yes, good afternoon to you, Usman. It's morning for me. It's actually 7 o'clock in the morning for me. So it's good to have you here. Usman, I think you've been attending our lives before. Is this your first time? I don't think this is your first time. So let me know if it's your first time. So if you're here, let me know where you're joining from. And as usual, I try to make these sessions practical because I expect that the people who are attending the sessions are those who have aspirations for US grad school. Either you are already in the process of applying or you are just starting or you're planning to start next year. So it's something, otherwise there's no point of being here, right? Because the conversation is about US grad school, the pathway, best practices, how you should prepare yourself. Hi, Benji. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where are you joining from? Thank you for joining. I see your hi. I was going to respond when I finish talking. Yeah, Usman, you say you attended all the sessions. Okay, that's good. It's good to have you here. Welcome. Let me know where you're joining from, Benji. Thank you for attending our lives. So back to what I was saying. Our sessions is about really, I wanted to do this 1 hour every Saturday as much as my time would permit. Like I said, the last 2 Saturdays, I was not here, right? Because I was traveling for work, so I couldn't be in 2 places at the same time. But what I want, or the vision I had in mind when I set up these sessions, was to make it as practical as possible so that I could take people through a journey. Like I'm in that process. This is where I am. This is where I got stuck. This is the question I have. And I could give you clarity on it. Normally, this is what you would pay to go on a one-on-one clarity call with someone, right? This is you would pay. You would have to pay for somebody to probably go on a Zoom session with you and dive into your matter and begin to guide you or hold you by the hand. So I felt like, okay, in as much as I'm very busy, like I have 1,001 things to do in my time, I could just carve out this time as we go through the application season. The application season is now at the thick of it, right? October is about to end. November, December becomes the deadline for most schools. Most schools for fall admission ends in December. And then for some other schools, you may be able to apply up till January, but generally it's mostly in December. So I wanted to do this session such that people could commit the time and the energy to actually learn on the journey and not just come and listen to me. Because for me, if you're listening to me and you're not doing anything with the information I'm giving you, it feels to me like I'm wasting time that I already do not have, right? Tijani, You say you are joining from Lokoja, Kogi State. Okay, welcome. So let me know, you guys, are you applying for US grad school currently? Are you currently applying? Are you have you submitted applications, right? Or are you in that process, or is it something you're hoping to do in the future? That way I can tailor my content, I can tailor my information, I can tailor what I'm telling you to your needs so that it is most useful to you. I keep telling you that time is of essence to me. I don't want to come and talk for the sake of talking or go on live for the sake of going on live and nobody is using the information I'm giving them for anything. There are other things for me to do with my time, right? Prince, you joining from Abuja. Okay, welcome. So while I'm waiting for your questions, I'm looking at the chat, right? I'm trying to see if anybody has a question. Tell me where you are. You say you just finished undergraduate program in chemistry. Okay, good. So you are planning to now apply for graduate school in the US. Is that a dream that you have? You're hoping to apply for graduate school. US graduate school, I tell people all the time, it's all about, it's like you're following a script. You know the way you are acting film, the way actors have a script, they have a plan as to what it is, what is to be expected, what they should be doing. It's the same way US grad school is. You need to be, if you want to succeed, hey, blessing, Chiamaka, my namesake, it's good to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining. I've missed all of you. I missed you guys this past 2 weeks that I was not able to come here. And then Usman, you say you told me you're planning your application next year. So my progress so far is just completed writing full manuscript on my research interest and also join professional association, both paid and free. Okay, that is good. It's very good to have a plan, right? It's very, very good. Okay, Patrick, you're applying for Fulbright scholarship. Good. Very good. It gives me context, right? I want to know the people who I'm talking to. I want to be able to, like I said, tell all my information. And if you have any question, feel free to put your question in the chat and then we'll talk about it as we move forward, right? So put your question in the chat so that we can make this session as practical as possible. You know, I keep saying it. I say it's important that you take the information and then you go and work on it during the week. You can now come back next Saturday with updates. You can say, I did this, I did that. This is what I did. This is where I am. This is what happened, like that. That way you make progress in your application, right? So I was saying something. I said, US grad school is like following a script. It's like you're an actor, you know, like you're an actor, you want to act a movie. So there is already a storyline. There's already a script for you to follow. That is how the process is. If you want to succeed, you need to be very intentional about understanding the best practices at each step of the way. Like I'm at the beginning of my journey. Like who told me now on the chat that he just finished grad school and is planning for US grad. He just finished undergrad and he's hoping to start US grad school. So that's the beginning of the journey, right? So at this point in time, you're asking yourself, what are my documents checklists? What are the things I need to have in place? What are some of the things I need to begin to gather to have with me before I even start making the application? At least that's a good place to start. Because most times people will tell you, I don't know where to start from. I've had people come to me and say, mentor me, I don't know where to start from. I'm like, you need to start from somewhere. You need to do a bit of research yourself. So as you're here, you can feel free to share this live to other groups where you are, to people who you know are on this journey, to people who you feel will benefit from the information we are sharing here, right? That's what is going to keep us going. So you have to think about the documents that you need from your transcript. Your transcript is very, very important because the transcript is dependent on your school. It's not dependent on you. So you need to think about your transcript. Think about a way to make sure that you have your transcript ready, you have it intact, right? Once you have your transcript, you now want to think about what is your CGPA. That's where a lot of people, I've had people that come to me and they say I should mentor them. For most US grad schools, if your CGPA does not equal 3/4, in Nigeria, most of our schools are over 5, right? So you get something over 5. You get 3.5 over 5, and that's 2-1. That's a 2-1 degree. If you get 4.5, that's first class, like that, in that order. That's the way it is in Nigeria. But then you have to convert that. I hope you know how to convert your CGPA from the 5 scale to the 4 scale. So you have to convert that and then check with yourself to say, hope I'm up to 3/4. Because for majority of schools, especially if you are looking for a fully funded scholarship, If you don't have up to 3/4, it's already a challenge. It's already like it's going to be a struggle for you. So that's the first start. If you don't have 3/4, you may begin to consider getting additional degrees, trying to get a master's degree, trying to get something higher, trying to see how you can beef up your CV. You want to reduce the hurdle for yourself. That's the point I'm trying to make. Preparation is going to help you to have all your documents in front of you by the time you start doing the application. It's very, very important that you kind of have a checklist. You have a checklist in your hands and you begin to mark it. Oh, my transcript, yes, I got it. Oh, yeah, this is my CGPA. When I convert it to 4, this is where I am, right? And then once you have that, something else that you need to also put a lot of thought. This is what affects so many students. Some of the people I've mentored have had some of those issues where you just go and get recommenders from nowhere, right? You just get people to recommend you, and you get people to recommend you that don't know, that don't understand what should be in the recommendation letter. That's a big challenge. So they just write something very generic, something very fluffy. Oh, Chiamaka is a good student. She was an excellent student. She's good. She's that. And that's the only thing that goes into the recommendation letter. I've reviewed a lot of recommendation letter, and I was happy for the people that they didn't submit it like that, because I knew that if they had submitted that recommendation letter the way they showed it to me, their chances would have been very, very slim. Recommendation letter has best practices. It has technicalities to it. Sometimes people don't know. You think it's just people saying nice things about you. No. The person who is recommending you is talking about both your character and your work ethic. They are talking about the things that they've seen you do. They're talking about how you react under pressure, the kind of problems you've solved. So that's why it's very important for you to have a template. I tell people, don't just go and tell people to write you. I don't ever tell anybody to write me a recommendation letter. Instead, I will give you a recommendation letter. I will tell you, because I know myself, I know my achievements, I know the things, I know what is expected. And then I can give it to you, and it becomes easy for you to just sign, for you to just read, review, dot I's, cross T's, and you sign. It makes it very easy for me. It makes it easy for me to get the best out of that recommendation letter, except if I'm asking somebody who truly understands the process. So a lot of students get it wrong here. You think that, oh, because this person is a professor, or because this person is a doctor, they may not really understand the content, what should be in that recommendation letter. So you as a person need to take the time, prepare your CV, take the time, prepare your templates of the recommendation letter, then send it to the person. It's very, very important that you choose people that know who you are. It's very, very important. Don't just, meet anybody and say, come and write recommendation for me. That may not end well for you. That's another important thing that you need to work on. And you need 3 people. So meaning that if you are someone who don't know how to network, if you don't like talking to people, if you don't like relating to people, you don't like connecting with people. Some people have problem at this stage because they don't know who to recommend them. They've not built relationship enough with the people they can reach out to at the point where they need recommendation letter. As simple as that seems. That's why I continue to encourage students who want to go to grad school in the US. I said, LinkedIn is your best friend, though. See, people, LinkedIn is a hub of connection. LinkedIn is a place that it kind of levels you out because it gives you access to people you would ordinarily not have access to. It gives you, especially if you know how to play the game well, if you understand the terrain, if you know how to position yourself well. Because at the end of the day, it's about positioning. It's about positioning. If you are telling me you want to go to US grad school, when I go to your LinkedIn, I should be able to see signs that you want to do that. I should begin to see proof of previous work done and the future work that you want to do. That's why I often tell people, I said, you want to go to US grad school, learn how to use LinkedIn. You may want to join our LinkedIn Elevation program. I had a couple of you, I think Rahimat, she joined this cohort, and you can go and look at her profile and see how her profile have improved. Just in these 3 weeks, we've not even completed the cohort. You can see how her profile has improved, both her banner, both everything, both optimizing her profile, both talking about. And what this does is that it helps you to learn how to write. Writing is a skill. People think that you just wake up and you know how to write, right? Writing is a skill, and it's a skill that cuts across every industry. There are certain skills which I'm going to teach you, which I'm going to tell you that it is important for you to build those skills, regardless of whether you are going for engineering, computer science, plant science, medicine, whatever the field you want to go to. There are critical skills that if you don't have those skills, it will continue to bite you. No matter the field you want to go to, there are some skills that if you don't have them, like if you don't take the time to begin to build on those skills, some of those skills, one of them is the skill of communication. You see, communication, your ability to communicate your thoughts clearly, your ability to speak, your ability to convey information in different settings, your ability to think fast on your feet, that when a problem is thrown at you, your brain can put together the words very, very fast. That's something that is super, super important, that your brain can just come up with those words the moment that question is asked to you, and you can give a coherent answer. You won't start saying, That skill, it is something that is learned. It's not something that age bestows on you. It's not something that when you become 25 or when you become 30, suddenly you become a good communicator. It doesn't happen like that. It's something that is honed. It's something that takes pain. It takes you practicing. It takes you putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations, going back and forth. We have the Ascension Conference coming. Part of what we have in that conference is public speaking contest and AI and tech business pitch. Maybe some of you entered for that contest, I don't know. But we have people who entered for that contest who will be winning cash prizes. But it's not about the cash prizes that they win. It's about the ability to put their thoughts together and contest in a global stage with thousands of people watching them. It's something that you practice. It's something that you learn to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And the more you put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, the easier it gets for you. So communication is one skill as an aspiring graduate student, especially in the US. Because already, if you're coming from Africa, probably you have an accent, just like me, right? You can hear my Nigerian accent. I'm so proud of it. So maybe you have an accent. Maybe you speak super fast, because us Africans, most of the time, we talk very fast. It's just maybe a cultural thing. So maybe you already have some of these things that here, the people you will be associating with may consider limitations. So if you don't work on your confidence, if you don't work on your ability to communicate clearly, you become very timid. You won't be able to speak in the midst of people. Even when you're doing group projects, when you're doing group assignments, because you would always feel like you're not good enough. As simple as what I'm telling you is, these are the things that would determine the kind of progress you make in grad school. Because getting to grad school is a means to an end. It's not the end itself. It's not the fact that you just get into grad school, oh, my problems are over, the way people think. You just think that, oh, yeah, now I have arrived. It's not. Time passes super fast. If you're doing a master's degree in less than 2 years, you'll be done. If you're doing a PhD, you can be done in 3 or 4 years, depending. I was done in a little less than 3 years, right? So the time will pass super fast, and you will still need to make decisions about your life. That's one thing. Another skill that would be very helpful to you as an aspiring grad student is a skill of knowing how to write. Very, very important. Especially now that you have a lot of AI assistants, it's important to learn prompt engineering. It's important that you learn how to write in a way that sounds very human, in a way that is engaging, in a way that is interesting. That would reflect in your SOP. It will reflect in your research statement. It will reflect on all the written documents that you are submitting for your admission. Again, these are technical skills that are learned and honed and sharpened through repetition. It is the more you repeat it, the more you do, the more you do. And people tell me, why do you create content on LinkedIn? It's a way of training for myself. It's not just the fact that you're creating, even as I'm talking to you right now, I'm not reading a script, right? I'm just sharing, I'm just talking to you. It's practice for me too. I'm getting used to talking to different groups of people. I'm getting used to waking up in the morning. It's 7:20 in the morning right now. And my brain can boot and think enough for me to share information in a way that is coherent. So I want you to think about it like that. Think about investing in yourself. Don't just look at all the limitations you have. That's a lot of challenge that people go through, or what people let themselves stay stuck in a place. You just look at all the limitations. But there are resources that are available to you that don't even require money. It doesn't even require you to pay anything. It just requires you to be willing to push yourself forward. It requires you to be willing to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations so that you can move forward. You want to be ready when those opportunities come knocking. That's something that is very, very important. Because when the opportunities will come, it may come and it will be, I need this reply in 1 week. Part of the things that the people who will be contesting for this our AI and tech business speech or public speaking speech. Part of what they needed to submit was a 1-minute video. So if you want to make the video, make it and submit, enter the contest. If you don't want to make the video, don't enter the contest. Nobody's forcing you, right? The people who entered the contest now, they would have that access, they will have mentorship, they will have cash prizes, and then it's a way of launching themselves. They already have that in their CV. They would have it, in fact, even if there are people who are applying for US grad school, they would have it in their CV that I entered for this contest and I won, and things like that. But then the opportunity needed to meet them ready. You needed to meet them at that point where they say, make a video, prepare your pitch, talk about this thing, and they will make it and they submit. So let me see some of the chat if there is any questions, so I can answer your questions before I keep going. Blessing Amaka, you say you are still researching more schools that offer funding for biomedical science, MSc. I emailed a few program coordinators and got responses concerning the availability of graduate assistantship. Good. Okay. Then I've drafted my SOP and academic CV yet to be reviewed by a professional. I'd like you to help me review it, yeah. Okay, sure. Chiamaka, if you have me on WhatsApp, you can reach out to me. That's part of the things that we offer at ScholarUP, right? I believe most of you have me on WhatsApp, I believe, because we are all on the same group. We are all in that ScholarUP graduate group. So review of CV, review of statement of purpose, review of your recommendation letter, any of your application documents, feel free to send me a message. If you send me a message and I don't respond, please send it again, right? If you send me a message, if I've not responded in at least 24 hours, help me send it again so that it will come up again, because I get lots and lots of messages and sometimes I miss them, not deliberately. I don't deliberately not respond to anybody. So Chiamaka, feel free, send me a WhatsApp message. If you've sent one, just send it again so I'll see it after this live. And then you say Americans are free visa to Burkina Faso. I'm not sure what that means, so I'm not very sure what that means, James. Maybe if that's a question, try to rephrase it. And then Chiamaka said again, I'm here to receive my transcript from my school. Also, my recommenders are available. Okay, good. You should start applying for your transcripts. That way you would have it handy. Because if it was like, I attended University of Jos, I don't know about your school. I don't know how digital it has become now, right? But about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was needing my transcript, it was a bit of a hassle. Them trying to look for all your results, put it together in one place, prepare the transcript. So I always advise students, start early. Start early to look for to get your transcript so that they will have it prepared, they will have it ready. It makes it, I think there is a fee in my school. I remember when I was in University of Jos, you probably had to pay like 12,000 or 15,000, or I can't even remember the amount. But I knew there was an amount to be paid for the transcript. So it's always good to kind of get that done ahead of time so that you have it ready. Without your transcript, you can't submit your application, right? So for most schools, you won't be able to submit your application. So you don't want that to become something that holds up your progress. That's the thing. The reason why it's important to sit down and do a document checklist and do a gaps analysis is that you want a situation where once you start the process, you will just move smoothly. Because now you know what to do. You are not guessing. You want to eliminate that guesswork. Because what determines who gets admitted and who doesn't is just very small things. It's not the most intelligent. Most times people think, oh, I graduated with first class. It doesn't mean much that you graduated with first class. If you graduated with first class and you don't know how to package your story, you don't know how to package your application, someone that graduated with 2-1, who knows how to put their documents together, who knows how to package their story, would by far be selected more than you. People who sit in admission committee, what they are looking for, what they are looking at is your ability to succeed moving forward. That's how they make their decision. So they base their decision that you are able to prove that you have what it takes to move forward. So they are very careful. Funds are limited. They are very careful. They don't want to bring you all the way from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Burkina Faso, wherever you're coming from, and they bring you to the US and you get stuck. You don't know how to move forward. It's a challenge, right? It's a very, very big challenge because at that point, you're already here and you cannot move forward. You're stuck. The school have lost resources. Scholarship is an investment. It's not charity. So people see potential. They see the potential for you to succeed. And they don't just see it. You would be the one to show that potential. You'll be the one to show them that potential through your stories, through your experiences, through the things that you've done. And I always tell people, the more the things you have on your CV that other people don't have, the better for you. Like, the more you are able to differentiate yourself through some of the activities, through some of the impact, through some of the volunteering, through some of the contests, just like this contest we're doing. For example, now, if I was reviewing a CV, and in that CV, I see as part of something that somebody has done, as part of their experiences, or as part of their awards, is I contested for an AI and tech business pitch in a global conference, and I won. That is something that will stop me in my track. That is something that I will look at again. Because if there were 100 people, chances are that may be the only person that will have that thing on their CV. That is one trick that people don't understand. That you need to look for unique experiences that would make your CV, that will make somebody look again, because people are reviewing these things very fast. So if it's all the same story, all the same story, all the same story, they are moving on very, very fast. So you're trying to have something in there that will just make somebody look at it and say, oh, wow, okay, what is this? I'm interested. I want to know more. What does this mean that this person did? It's some of these little tricks that differentiate who gets admitted and who does not. It's not rocket science. Think about your application as an investment that you are making on yourself. If it was easy for people to come to the US for graduate school, more people would come. More people than there are now would come. If it was easy to get a PhD, it would not be less than 2% of all the close to 10 billion people in the world, or 9-point-something billion people in the world. It wouldn't be just 2% of that number that have a PhD. So I want you to think about it in that regard, and don't take things for levity. I tell you guys this thing all the time on the group. I say, you can see my passion. I want you to succeed. But if I want you to succeed more than you want to succeed, I will just be stressing myself, right? I will just be stressing myself. I will just be talking. And I don't want that, because I have so many other things to do. I keep emphasizing that. But I just want you to reach that point where you commit your mind. You commit yourself. You understand that nobody's going to do these things for you, except it doesn't mean much to you. If it means much to you and you want to succeed, then you're going to do what it takes. You're going to try to understand, okay, what does it even take to succeed in this thing? What are some of those things? The people who succeeded, what did they do differently? The people who get admitted every day. If you saw my status, one of my mentees just told me he got his US visa and he's moving to the US. I posted that just within this last week. I'm like, yeah, that makes me happy. That was even part of the things that encouraged me. Honestly, I was thinking about canceling these sessions. I was like, oh, well, maybe it's not important, so I shouldn't be wasting my energy. And then when one person will reach out and say, because of your support, because I succeeded, I'm like, okay, maybe for that one person, I'll keep showing up. Maybe that one person who comes and listens and puts it into practice, I'll keep showing up and I'll continue, right? So let me see if there is another question. Prince said, currently on my research phase of potential grad schools that offer my intended course of study at US and Europe. Okay, currently on my research phase of potential grad schools that offer my intended schools in US and Europe. Okay, so you are searching, your researching phase. Okay, I see your point. Okay, yeah, continue to research, but I will tell you, don't waste too much time on research than implementing. So you can actually do both hand in hand. So if you find a school that fits, that has your course of study, I don't know the course you're trying to study, but for example, you want to do mechanical engineering, or just giving an example. If you find a school that do that, what you can do immediately is go to their faculty, because most of these schools, you see the websites, they are well kept, they are well organized, that you can find information. That is the beauty of some of these things, that almost all the information you're looking for, you'll be able to find it. Almost all the information that you're seeking, you'll be able to find the information on the website, on the school website. Is well organized. If you go to a particular department, you will see the faculty in that department. You would see their program. You would even see the kind of research they do. You would see like a bio of the professor, like the professor in the lab. You would see the person's bio. You would see all those information. So when you see the things that interest you, I tell people, build your Excel sheet so that you can track your progress. Build your Excel sheets so that you can track your progress. It's important that you don't do things haphazardly. If you do things haphazardly, you won't even know who you've connected to. You won't know who, you won't even know. You will just be stressing yourself, right? But if you are taking notes, like, okay, Texas A&M, that's my university, that's where I graduated from. Texas A&M, I went to this department, these are the professors, these are their email, these are their research. So when you reach out to them, you will be able to come back to say they responded. This is what the response was. Maybe somebody told you, oh, great CV, but I don't have funding this year. You know how to build on the relationship that you've started. So as you are researching, be doing. Don't just be researching and be gathering information. It is the implementation that makes a difference. It is the implementation. It is you taking those things, like you taking these things I'm telling you now. And after this live session, you sit down and you put it into practice. Let me tell you something about the human brain. Our brain has this funny thing that it does, that most of the time, when we continue to talk about things, right? We talk about things a lot, our brain begins to feel like we've achieved it. It's just a funny thing about the human brain. And that is why most of the time, people talk about their dreams forever. Like they talk about their dreams forever without actually doing anything meaningful to achieve it. So they will just stay in that motion of talking about it, talking about the thing. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to go to US grad school. Oh, I want to do that one. And they will talk about it, and their brain will give them this dopamine boost that makes you feel like you've achieved something. You just feel like you've achieved that thing, but you've really not achieved it. You've not done anything about it. You're just in that circular motion. So I tell people, implement. Don't just spend so much time and say, I'm doing research, I'm researching this. No. If you research one thing and you understand that one thing, put it into practice. If you find 10 professors who are related to the course that you want to do, reach out to them. Reach out to them while you continue your research. Don't just stay in your research and say, I'm doing research. 1 month, you're doing research, 2 months, right? So it's very, very important that you're stopping at the end of every day. That's something I was talking to my sister yesterday, and I was kind of admonishing her and telling her this. And I said, you need to check with yourself at the end of the day and ask yourself, what did I do to contribute to my dreams today? What did I do? What actions? What did I, from the 12 hours that I had today, 12 hours of the day, maybe from 6 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. at night. So maybe by 6 o'clock at night, you're asking yourself, what did I do today that added to the dreams that I had? So what that means, what I'm telling you now, what it means is that you need to have, first of all, defined your dreams, right? You need to have defined your dreams. And if you're here, you're listening to me, I believe part of that dream is getting into grad school in the US. That is part of your dream, right? That's something, otherwise, there may not be a point of you being here, right? So part of your dream, part of a clear dream that you have is that maybe I want to do a master's degree, I want to do a PhD in this or that. I want to get an engineering degree. I want to get a business education. Whatever it is, you've defined it and it is clear to you. So it's like a vision board. So what I'm teaching you now are just the deep things of life that would help you to, the people you see who are excelling, you see them, oh, wow, this person achieved so much. It's not magic. There's no magic formula to these things. It's just a clarity of forgetting about your feeling. Forget how you feel. Forget whatever you're feeling. Focus on the business of the day. Focus on the movement. Focus on what gets you out of the situation where you are. So at the end of every day, you're reflecting, you're asking yourself, this is my US grad school dream. What did I do today to contribute to that dream? What did I do today that is moving me forward? What did I do today? Because it's very incremental. It's very, very important that you compound your efforts. A lot of times, people are not able to achieve their goals because they don't stick it out long enough to compound their effort for it to become meaningful. So they start something, they do fire brigade approach, fire brigade. They say it's not working, they leave it, they jump to the next thing, they do that again. When it's about time for them to hit jackpot, they give up again. That's what keeps a lot of people, and time would pass. Time passes like, I can't believe that it's almost 4 years since I came to the US. It looks to me like yesterday, but in December, it's going to be 4 years. So time passes super, super fast. Time will continue to pass. And it's up to you to define your goals, define your dreams, and then make sure that you are learning what it takes to get you there. And don't just learn. As you're learning, put the things you're learning into practice. Practice them. If it fail fast, fail forward, pick yourself up, keep moving forward, right? So that's very important. So I hope, Prince, this helps you and you don't just stay researching, but as you're researching and you're finding those information, you're learning how to write a cold email, you're learning how to put your documents together, and you're reaching out to those professors, you're applying to scholarships that are available to you, and you're making progress. Now, Usman, so I heard people broadcasting rumor, and I want to be sure about if someone get a full funding scholarship can still be denied visa at the embassy. And what are the expenses someone expects from Nigeria? Oh, okay. That's a very good question, right? The receiving visa to come to the US, the US embassy, the consular reserves the right to give visa to who they deem eligible, whom they deem deserves it. So the consular reserves that right. And it's not something, most of the time, it's not even contestable. So that's the first key point I want you to take note of. It is the consular. At the US embassy, in whatever country, they reserve the right to decide who receives the US visa, right? When people have fully funded scholarship, the chances of denying their visa is very slim. Something has to be out of place. The chances are slim. If you get admission in the US and you are not funded, so you get admission in the US, you don't have fully funded scholarship, there's a very high tendency that your visa will be denied. The tendency is very, very high. I've seen it happen so many times. Even when people can afford to pay these fees out of pocket, even when they can prove based on their account statement or based on the assets that they have, even when they can prove that they can afford to pay, most of the time, without a fully funded scholarship, they get denied. I've seen it happen so many times. I've seen that happen. So for whatever reason, they just believe that you can't afford it. That when you come to the US, you'll probably not be able to focus on school. You'll be struggling to survive. Because as a student, you are not supposed to be having a full-time job. You're supposed to just work 20 hours a week within the school or around the school, related to the school. That is what your visa allows, right? So your F visa, the F1 visa, which you get to come to school, kind of puts you in that position where you are not allowed to work a full-time job. You're supposed to be a full-time student and then you work part-time. So most of the time, if you don't have that full funding, chances of denying your visa significantly increases. But I've seen people who got visa who didn't have funding. I've seen that happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that the chances are higher. But then if you have fully funded scholarship and your visa was denied, maybe something was wrong. There are high chances that there was a question that was asked to you and you gave some responses that were suspicious. Sometimes people don't even know how to prepare for visa interviews, right? Because these are people who they're just very psychological. They are trained to do that work. So a simple response of somebody asking you whether you're planning to return to your country after school and you saying no can be triggering, because an F visa, a student visa, is not an immigration visa. So some questions that may be thrown at you, if you don't know how to answer it correctly, that may be a reason for your visa to be denied. So that will be your fault. That will be like it's something that you didn't do right. So it's very important that as you go through your processes, as you go through each stage, make sure you are preparing adequately. You are reaching out to somebody who has been through the process to say, okay, now I've been admitted, my interview is on these dates, can you help me prepare? Can we do like a mock interview? Can you help me so that you know what to expect, especially if you've not gone to the consulate before, you've not done US interview before. You don't want to just go in blind because you don't even know what they're going to ask you. So you want to be kind of prepared with arming yourself with the possible best answers that you would give to questions that will be thrown at you. So that's the answer to that, Usman. And then in terms of expenses, right? If you've been admitted from Nigeria to come to the US for grad school, more often than not, your admission does not cover your flight ticket. That's one key expenses that you need to cover by yourself. You need to find a way. Because at that point, they're not going to send you money. They won't send you any money until you have arrived in the US before you start receiving your stipend. So even if for very few programs where they will refund that money, it will be much, you would have arrived. So that means you have to find a means to find the money to pay for your flight ticket. That is like the major, that's like the key expenses that you need. Once you've been admitted on a fully funded scholarship, of course, you need to find a house, right? So you need to find a house, and here in the US, you pay your houses monthly. You pay monthly rent in the US. If you get a shared apartment, you can get a cheap apartment. It depends on the state. The prices differ. So prices of rent can go anywhere from $500 up to $1,000 or even more, depending on the type of house, the state, the area, things like that. So these are some of the expenses that you may need to prepare, you have to prepare for before, right? So prepare for your first month rent, prepare for your flight ticket, and prepare for just a little pocket money to support you here and there. But once you come on board, once you start school, the stipend that you'll be receiving is typically enough to live on. It's typically enough. It's not a lot of money. Of course, you won't suddenly become a millionaire, right? You will not live like a prince, but you would also not live suffering. You would have enough to cover your bills. You've had enough to pay your rent. You've had enough to eat. You would even have little to send back home. For those of you who have family responsibilities, it's usually not a lot of money, but when you manage it well, except you come here, so I see some students, they make the mistake. The moment they arrive, they will go and buy one big car, because in the US, it's a credit place, right? So once you have a credit card, you can begin to buy anything. So some people make that mistake. They'll go and buy one big car, go and rent one big house. That is you putting yourself under pressure now. That is you trying to put yourself under a lot of pressure, and it's not going to end well for you, right? So if you want to be a student, that is the time to cut your coat, not even according to your size. You cut your coat according to the material you have. So you live your life according to the resources that you are receiving. If your stipend is $1,800, $2,000, you don't want to go and rent a house that is almost everything that is on your stipend. Shared apartment is a great way to manage that. When I was in the university, I shared apartment. I shared apartment with other graduate students. It made it cheaper. So these are some of the balances that you are able to live according to your means. You live within your means so that you won't be under unnecessary pressure. You won't add pressure to yourself, because grad school itself is already a lot of pressure, right? Grad school itself is already very stressful. If you want to succeed in grad school, if you want to excel in grad school, you need to give it the commitment and the focus it demands. So one thing you want to avoid is to add additional financial stress to yourself. You want to avoid it. You want to avoid a situation where, on top of the stress, on top of the deadlines that you have to meet, on top of your assignment, on top of your research, you are now adding additional financial burden to yourself because you did not learn how to manage the resource that was given to you. So they give you $2,000 as your stipend, and your house rent is $1,500. You see, that is a foolish balance, right? It's a foolish balance. Maybe you go and rent one self-contained house. You just want to live by yourself, and you say, "Oh no, me, I don't like stress. Me, I don't like people." It's just you putting yourself under stress when you could have also taken a different decision. So Usman, I hope that helps you. The expenses can be steep, but it's totally worth it. I tell people, even if you borrow money from someone for your flight ticket, to come to the US, within the first 2 or 3 months in the US, you'll be able to pay back that money. And the reason for that is because of the difference in currency. That's the reason for that. You'll be able to pay the money. So it's not such a heavy expenses that is so out of this world, especially if you have fully funded scholarship. So whatever means you are able to raise funding. I remember I sold my car because, of course, I didn't need it anymore anyway. So I had to raise some money here and there, to be able to get my transportation, like to pay my flight ticket and to pay my 1 month rent. But it was totally worth it, and I was able to pay that, and I came and, from the second, third month, I was still able to send back little by little, little money home to support, because I'm from a very humble background, right? I say that all the time. And I say that just as a way to encourage you to understand that where you are coming from doesn't matter. My father is poor, my mother is poor, my village people are poor, nobody's up. All of those stories, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter a lot. You reach a point in your life, you need to begin to chart a different path. You need to begin to try to break yourself out of that circle. So you cannot just stay stuck in your head with all the limitations to say, this prevented me, this did not happen, that did not happen, my parents did this. Nobody cares. You realize nobody really cares at the end of the day, right? So if you stay in that loop of complaining and you're not incrementally contributing to what is going to get you out of it, or you continue to talk about it but do nothing about it, you will still stay stuck. You still stay stuck. So all of these things are very much possible. So Blessing, you said you have a question. Let me see. We are wrapping up now. I have like 15 minutes to be done on this live. So I'm going to be looking at the chat to make sure I answer all your questions before I go. You say, my question is, one of my 3 recommenders is a professional colleague. Is it okay that she doesn't have an official work email? Could she do it with her Gmail? Okay. You say she's a professional colleague. So how come she does not have an official work email? That's a question, right? How come? Where does she work? Almost every place you work should have an email, right? They should have like an organizational email that you have. It's always safer. It's always better to use official emails for submitting those official documents. The reason for this is that it removes from somebody's mind that you did not submit it for yourself. Because in that situation, what stops you, Chiamaka? Let me ask you a question, Chiamaka. What stops you from creating an email with anybody's name and then submitting a recommendation for yourself using that email? You see that there's nothing stopping, there's nothing at all stopping that. Anybody can create, you can create any number of Gmails you want with whatever name you want, really. You can create an email with anybody's name. So, and then the email will arrive with that person's name. But is it really that person, right? So what makes the difference is having that official email. So I would advise you that it's best for you for the person to use their workplace email. And let it also be people who are findable. I talked about this in our last session. It helps you that the person who is recommending you, for example, I'm writing a recommendation letter for you. It's important that when you go to Google and you type in my name, that I can come up and I'm verifiable as that person. That's something else I want all of you to check. The people who are recommending you should not be people who are in the Stone Age that you cannot find, because there are still people you cannot find now. It's not because they don't exist, it's because they've not been intentional enough to put out information about them that will make it easy for people to track them down or for people to see them. So it's very, very important. Those are the 2 key things that I would advise you, that it is safer for you. When you are on this grad school journey thing, as much as possible, you're trying to stack the odds in your favor. That's what you're trying to do. You want all the odds to be in your favor. You don't want to add more complexities to something that is already hard. That's what I want you to understand. Like, you don't want to add more layers of stress, more layers, more reason for somebody to reject you to something that is already tough. Something that is, that is already tough. It's already a struggle. So by yourself, you will not add little things here and there that will not make it even tougher. It will not make it even more difficult for somebody to now use that as an excuse. So all of these small things are things you want to take note of. Let your recommenders be people that are easily findable, so that if somebody has some sort of doubt in their mind, the only thing they need to do is to flip up their phone and search for this person and see the person. That makes a difference for you. That's something that is going to help you to avoid any kind of stress. All right, let's see any other question. How can I connect with you on WhatsApp? Okay, Tijani, when you look at the description of this event, by the time I finish this event and the event uploads, if you look at the description of this event, you would see the link to the ScholarUP WhatsApp group on the description, so you can just join the group. So most of the people you see here are from the group, right? So you can just join that group and you would have information of our next sessions. I'm hoping to see if I can keep holding these sessions every week. But like I told you guys, your commitment to the process, your feedback to me will determine whether I'll continue to make the sacrifice. I don't have to do this. I really don't have to do this by every standard, right? But your commitment to the process, you coming back with your questions, you showing that this means something to you, then I would also push myself. It's Saturday morning. I should be resting, but I'm already up, baited, dressed up. Like I should just still be in my pajamas by now, right? I shouldn't have left my bed because it's been a very busy week. And on Saturday that I'm supposed to rest, I'm waking up in the morning to do this because I have other things to do. So that's the best way for you to connect. I always put the link on the WhatsApp group. So usually I'll set up the event sometime during the week, maybe Thursday or Friday or so, and then I'll put the link on the group so it will be easy for you to just join the group. So check the description. Even our previous events, all the descriptions has the link to the WhatsApp group. All right. And then Martha, what video do I make to enter the speaking contest? If your question is, I don't want to say, okay. Amaka, calm down, relax. Okay. Martha, if you clicked on the link to sign up for the contest, you would have seen the instruction on the Google form because all of the instructions are there, both for the speaking contest and the AI and tech business pitch. It's a simple form that I have posted. I've put that form out on my post for at least more than 10 posts in the past 2 weeks. It's like that information is so out there that all you need to do to get the answer to your question is to click on the link, see the prompt that is required of you to enter that contest. And anyway, the contest entries are closing tomorrow. I'll make the final selection by this week. I have many more people who have entered, but the final contestants for each contest will be like 7 or 8. I'm still thinking at this point, 7 or 8 people will be the final contestants on the day of the Ascension conference. So go look at my post. I've put that in the group so many times. Look at the prompt, see what the prompts are, see what is required, see what you're supposed to submit in order to move forward. Oh, Dawn, is that you? A really good point about differentiating oneself. It's good to have you here. Thank you for coming. What did I do today that contributed to my dreams? Important question, right? It's important to ask that question as many times as possible. Tijani, since the first step is arrange the necessary document and searching for graduate school, what are the next steps after? Okay, good. That's a very good question, right? Once you have all your documents, there's a document checklist, right? You've checked all the documents that I mentioned. The very next step, in fact, the hardest step that takes a lot of time and effort for you to really, if you want to succeed and you want to do it well, you see that cold emailing process, that process of retrieving all the emails of the professors that you want, that are possible professors for you, like they are people you're trying to reach out to come to go to their program, right? Retrieving those emails, looking at the program, what they do in the program, to say, okay, this is an engineering program, this is their area of interest, oh, this is interesting to me. And you write cold emails to those professors one after the other, using the right templates, using the right format, following up with them, and them responding. That is, most of the time, that is the make or break time of your graduate school process. If you're able to land a professor that looks at your profile or looks at your CV, looks at your cold email and say, oh, wow, Tijani, this is a good fit for my program, you have been admitted. That's like, you do that work and you skip some other protocol. That's something that I tell people sometimes, it's either you want to do the work at the beginning, right? So you want to do the work at the beginning so that by the time you come towards the end of it, you would have done the work. I think I was having that conversation with my sister yesterday. She was applying for a graduate assistant for a school, and she was asking me about the interview process because I was in the university, right? And I said, when I got into the university to lecture, I was not interviewed. The reason I got my job was because I graduated as overall best. So I didn't do any interview, I didn't do any test, I didn't do CBT test. I got in on merit. So you realize that the work was already done before. So now the other people who are trying to get into the university, they are doing CBT tests, they are doing this, they are doing that. It's still okay. So it's the same thing now that I'm telling you. If you take the time to put in the work, if you take the time to put in the effort of building those connections, connecting with those professors, sending them messages, knowing how to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your best friend as an aspiring graduate student. LinkedIn, you should have a LinkedIn profile that reflects where you're going to. People take all of these things for granted, but LinkedIn can make some kind of connection for you that you will not find any other place. And if you make your profile interesting, if you learn how to do content marketing, learn how to market yourself because you are the product. You learn how to position yourself. You make yourself very, very attractive. That when some of these professors see your profile, you're already interesting to them because they see you posting about that aspiration that you have. Oh, I'm trying to get a degree in agriculture, I'm writing about it. I'm trying to get a degree in biotechnology, I'm writing about it. I'm writing about my experiences. All of the professors that you are trying to get into their lab, all of them have a LinkedIn profile. They may not be actively posting, but most of the time they show up and they see what is happening. So you want to connect via cold emailing, then you want to also connect with people on LinkedIn. That is really like the step that takes a lot of time. When I got my admission 4 years ago to come to my PhD, I only applied to one school. I submitted application to one school and I got admitted into that one school. But before I submitted that application, I cannot tell you the number of professors I had reached out to. I reached out to so many, back and forth conversation until it clicked. Until somebody said, oh, wow, okay, I think so. Let's go. And you were already in. So that's how it works. Those are the steps that before you submit application, so many times people make that mistake of just going straight and they'll just go and submit the application. Because it's easy. You just click on the school, you submit your application, you've not done any groundwork. Most of the time, it results in rejection. So that's how you go about it. So can you give us the steps to take to achieve the grad school admission? I've given these steps over and over again. So maybe you may need to rewatch this event again. Keep coming back again because I hope to be hosting this event every week. Right now, I have given you certain steps that I'm hoping that you can come back next week and tell me where you are. I've told you document checklist is the first. Get your transcripts. SOP, you need your SOP. You need your research statement for some schools. Not all schools ask for it. You need to have recommenders. You need to decide the people who will be writing your recommendation letter. You typically need 3. Then you need to start making a list of the professors that you want to go to their lab to get admission. So you are looking for a master's or a PhD. You need to do the research to find out all of those professors, put them in an Excel sheet. That's a good place to start, right? That's a good place to start. And I'm hoping that that Tijani, you guys will do this work this week. When you come back next week, Saturday, same time, you will tell me where you are. And then I will tell you what next to do because it's a journey. You cannot do everything in one day, but you have to commit to the process. So you say, how do you convert your 5.0 to 4? It's very easy, right? It's just very easy mathematics. Let me give you a typical example. I remember we used to do crossing multiplication when we were much younger. So let's assume that your CGPA is 4.5 over 5. So you have 4.5 to 5, right? Now you are trying to convert it to 4. The easy thing to do is 4.5 multiplied by 4 divided by 5. Very simple. It's cross multiplication. So it's like 4.5 is to 5, x is to 4. X times 5, 4.5 times 5. I hope I'm not confusing you. But it's very simple. What I'm telling you, you can put it on paper. Just write it on paper as I'm telling you. It's very, very easy. So your CGPA is 4.5 over 5, right? And now you're trying to put it on a 4 scale. So you have 4.5 is to 5. You have x is to 4. So you are multiplying 4.5 times 4 divided by 5. Let me know if that is clear, but it's just very simple math. So that way you will know what it is over 5. So let's see, I'm wrapping up now. She works at a teaching hospital as a chief medical laboratory officer. So she doesn't have the hospital email. That's strange. Oh. Nigeria is very, very funny. Oh. How can you be working in the hospital and not have an official email? Like, just check that she's searchable, right? Does she have an active LinkedIn? Does she have publication? Let it just be like I mentioned to you. It's very important for you that the person you're using is searchable. Let it not be somebody that when I type their name, I won't be able to find them. So avoid hurdles for yourself so that people will not say you made it up. As Nigerians, some of the challenges we already face in countries like America is that majority of the people look at you with the lens of a scammer, unfortunately. Like you've not even done anything and somebody says you want to scam them. Because of that reputation,
I have a story that I'll probably tell you guys next week. When I came to the US, I almost lost my admission because of my master's transcript, right? I almost lost it because they thought I was lying, and the school was on strike. The school was on strike. They didn't send my transcript on time, and they said I was lying, and I wasn't lying. I had finished the master's degree. So it's unfortunate. It is where we are as a country, that so many people have done funny things that gives us that weird label. That before you've done anything, somebody is looking at you and saying you want to scam them, you're lying. They're looking at you on that way, right? So it's very, very important for you to avoid situations that would put you in that manner. It's very, very important. Let me see. I think. All right. Let's see. Is there any other question? For someone who studied animal science but wants to do an MBA, what are the barriers to this, and how feasible is this? Because most people who get scholarship get their master similar to. Of course, this is going to be very tough. If you did animal science and you're trying to do an MBA on scholarship, how do you bridge the gap? It's going to be a hard sell. What I would advise you is use your animal science that you have and get another degree, right? Get a degree that is on top of your animal science, like a master's degree that is related. Because fit is very important. If you're not able to show fit, the chances of getting a scholarship is very, very slim. If you're not able to prove that you have fit, it's going to be hard for anybody to give you admission, unfortunately. So I would advise you, if you want to do an MBA, that's fine. If you want to do it in Nigeria, it will be easy to do in Nigeria. If you want to do it online, it will be easy to do it online too. But if you want to come to the US, that's the different matter now. If you want to come to the US, you need to be able to show fit. You need to be able to show correlation between where you are coming and where you are coming from to where you're going. So that's, I think you should probably come back next week again and we can talk about this more. But I've given you options. If you want to do it in Nigeria, it will be very easy. If you want to do it online, it's going to be very easy. But if you want to get a fully funded scholarship with an animal science degree, that is going to be a hard sell. It's going to be like, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to sell that. In fact, getting fully funded scholarship for MBA itself, even for people with a business education, is hard as it is, especially in the US. So getting fully funded scholarship straight into an MBA is already tough, even for people with a business background. So you with your science background, making that switch, what are you going to be able to show as your fit? What are you going to be able to show that this is what I have, this is what I'm bringing with me, this is what I've done? So it's not impossible, but the advice is, if you're trying to get scholarship, try to get a scholarship to do maybe a master's degree in animal business, like what's that? There's a way to connect your program with business. There is. You can type that, you can ask ChatGPT or you can ask Google. There's a way to do, you still under agriculture, you're still under animal sciences, but like the business side of things. So that could be like an easier fit than a straight up MBA, right? So Blessing, I hope that is clear. So you say you get another person. Okay, I think that may just be best for you, right? Like I said, what you are trying to avoid is make things more difficult for yourself. By every means possible, make sure you are not adding layers of stress to a process that is already stressful. That's the point that I'm trying to give to you, right? Okay, you are all welcome. I think my time is already up for today. Oh, God bless me. Thank you. Thank you so much. So it's good. I'm so happy to be with you all today again. And as usual, I encourage you to take your process seriously, right? If my commitment is more than your own, it's going to discourage me. That's the honest to God truth. If I'm more committed and I'm the one showing up and I don't see you showing up, I don't see you putting the things I'm telling you into practice, I don't see you coming back with questions to show me that you've actually done something with the things I've told you, it's going to be hard for me to want to keep doing this. It's early morning for me. There's 1,001 things I'd rather be doing with this time. But I'm happy. I'm really, really happy sharing this 1 hour with you every Saturday because I want it to translate into something practical. I want it to translate into you achieving that goal. Getting into US grad school is not easy, but it's not impossible. People have been doing it. People have been doing it over and over again. They will continue to do it. So just have the willingness to put in the work. Take advantage of the resources that are available to you. There are so many resources available to you. I talk about this AI and tech business pitch. I talk about the speaking content. This is money that you would win for improving yourself. And even if you don't win, you would improve yourself. You see, that's the funny thing. And at the point I'm wondering is like, are you even forcing people to come and win money? It's very funny to think about, right? So it is, even if you don't even win, just the exposure it gives you, the practice it gives you, the opportunity it gives you, it's something. It's a way to push yourself outside your comfort zone. And I'm going to end with talking about LinkedIn again. As an aspiring graduate student, you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you don't start building your profile now. Some of us started late. Yeah, honest to God truth, I only started LinkedIn last year, right? If I knew what I knew, the way I'm sharing with you now, I would have started LinkedIn right from when I was an undergrad, maybe. But I did not, and it's okay. We are here now. Now you're having access to this information. You're having access to this. You even have somebody to guide you. We're wrapping up cohort 16 this Sunday. You are invited to our graduation, so feel free to attend. It's going to be hosted live on LinkedIn and YouTube. Feel free to attend our graduation. Feel free to take advantage of the next cohort. The next cohort is going to be starting November 4th, right? It's learn. Understand first. Learn what you need to do. Learn how you can leverage your connections on LinkedIn to build your confidence. It's important you focus on building yourself. Work very hard to build yourself. You are the prize. That's one thing. If you don't take anything away from this life today, understand that nobody is going to come and build yourself up. That person you are admiring, the person you're looking at and saying, I like how they talk, I like how they do, I like how confident they are, I like. It took work for them to become that person you admire, and you can equally do the same for yourself. So you owe it to yourself to do that, right? You owe it to yourself to do that for yourself. So take advantage of it. If you're not in the WhatsApp group for the grad school, like I mentioned, it's on the description of this live. So once I finish this live and it loads up, you can look at the description, you can join the group. That way you can get updates, right, on information of our next events and things like that. And then Tijani said the conversion process you gave is correct, ma. Did you think it was incorrect? Kai, oh my God, this student. You said the conversion process I gave is incorrect. Yeah, 3.6/4. Yeah, that's how to go about it. So it's just very simple. It's just very simple math. Tijani, you're very funny. So were you thinking it wasn't correct to begin with? Anyways, it's been a lovely time being here with you guys. Let me get on to other things. I have a meeting with my volunteers later today, and then we have our graduation ceremony tomorrow. So like I said, you're welcome to join the graduation. You're welcome to join our LinkedIn Elevation program that will be onboarding the next cohort, November 2nd. So take care of yourself. God bless you. You say you didn't mean it that way. No, it's fine. I'm just joking. Don't worry. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. God bless you. I'll see you guys next week.